All right, go ahead. Go ahead and get started, Nubia.
Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is kind of going over memory techniques. So what we're going to be discussing during this presentation is what distracts you, what is usually a good way to help you focus. You know, sometimes, especially now with what's going on, we tend to be a little bit distracted and our memory tends to fade a little bit. So why do we forget? Usually what happens is it is called the decay theory. The decay theory is that you didn't review it using information, so it faded away. You know, this usually happens when you have a subject that you're not really interested in, or just something that you briefly touch bases on, but you didn't really go into enough depth or use the information over and over in order for you to process it and keep it. So interference, something that you're trying to learn. So this is something that is seen often where it's like you already know something, but then you learn something else and you what you initially knew. So it replaces or it kind of just pushes away the information that you already knew. So what happens is that it's an imbalance and your brain is trying to connect how they relate. And sometimes that connection isn't made. So you either gain one piece of information or lose another one. So those are usually two of like the main reasons why we tend to forget. And this is more of a general knowledge base, not as into like little tasks or okay, so the learning pyramid, this touches based on how we learn, and this touches on listening, the reading, audiovisual, demonstration, discussing, practice by doing, and teaching others. So based on the research, it is a 90% accuracy that you are more likely to learn what you're reviewing by teaching others. And this is usually for your subjects. And, you know, sometimes this really helps out when you're studying your flashcards, when you're studying vocabulary words, when you're reviewing for exams, when you're doing your finals, midterms, this is why we have study groups. When you're able to teach and practice by doing, which is also a big one, you're able to keep that information, and once you create a pattern, it stays in your brain rather than have like going back to the interference. It doesn't interfere. On the contrary, the information that you already know and the information that you're learning creates a connection, so it tends to stay in your brain longer and you're able to retain it. So this is one of the questions I tend to ask people is like, are you an auditory, visual, or on hand, like practice by doing type of person? And this usually is like auditory is like the listening and the reading, and then the visual is like the reading and audiovisual and demonstration, and then kinesthetic is the hands-on. So this is really important, especially when taking like online courses. It's like, what are you better at doing that helps you study and able to retain the information longer? And usually it tends to be, I'm a hands-on person, and that's why people don't like to take online. Or some people like to take online because they do it at their own pace, because they like to listen to the audio and they like to watch the videos, at their own pace. And this is related to the memory because you're helping your brain recollect any information that you're studying by reviewing it over and over. So your environment. Your environment is a great factor when it comes to your memory, as into what distracts you and what can help you retain that information. So the first step is finding out what your distractors are. And so the question is, what distracts you while studying? A few examples can be music, pets, family, your own room. And I've seen research where it's like, if you chew the same flavor of gum while you're studying a certain subject and you're chewing it again while taking an exam, you're bound to recollect some of the information that you reviewed. Or if you study in the same spot, the same subject, or vary your spots of studying. So if you are study reading, or if you read in your living room, or if you practice math in your room, or if you do your English homework on your bed, certain examples. It's like your brain, once you put yourself in that position, it's going to trigger something and you'll be like, oh, I remember doing this. But because you're adjusting your brain, your environment, so it can work in favor of your brain, so you can, it can trigger, it can be environmental or even like mentioned right now, like the gum. But it's one of the things that they would tell us in school, in elementary school, when we used to practice Ames testing. It's like chew a certain flavor of gum or chew something sweet while you're taking exams, so your memory can like bring back whatever information you have going, like retained. And I think, I can't remember, there's like a certain flavor of gum that actually tended to be more useful, but whatever helps. And in this case, especially with being at home, the main factor is the environment. So I know many of us are working from home, or working as in like your school or actual work. And one of the things that can help us with distractors is, making your spot, finding that spot for you to be able to concentrate and retain that information. Sometimes family tends to be a little loud, or our pets tend to be a little bit distracting. And studying during these times might not be easy, but you have to work with what you have in your environment to be able to come up with a plan in order for you to implement it. So tips for maintaining memory. So the first one is brain trainings. This includes puzzles, apps, anything that can get your brain going. One of my favorites, like I said right now, is like the puzzles or matching games, like matching cards games. Exercise, just a few minutes of working out. I've seen many just 7-minute workouts that can help you, just keep that body going, and just kind of remind your body that you're still active, even though many of us are kind of living that sedentary life where we're just on our desk all day. And being able to just get the blood flowing into the brain, reminding yourself that you're alive, you need to move, you need to kind of be in the moment and get the energy out. Another one is meditation, and this one is more for like being able to learn how to concentrate. So it's you're focusing your attention on certain objects. During meditation, you're at the beginning, of course, your mind tends to wander off, and that's like the whole point of you being able to let go of, you're giving yourself time to have like that rush of emotions, of memories, of thoughts, because like meditation tends to be a little bit harder. But once you're into that meditation mode, you're practicing your breathing, you're learning how to build that skill for you to be able to retain certain things. So I put exercise in there twice, but just emphasizing how important exercise is. Get enough sleep. I think this one is a very hard one, especially now with everybody's sleeping schedules a little bit messed up, and we kind of lose that routine of school, work, or school, home, and et cetera, et cetera. So getting enough sleep. The average sleep for a person is hours. So sometimes it's usual to finish school assignments, and it's okay. Just don't push yourself too hard, because then that leads to you causing memory to like even more. Your brain is tired, you overworked it, and that's why they always say don't cram before an exam. If you're going to study the day before an exam or a final or so on, it's recommended you might as well not even study, or quote unquote study, or even review it, because you just overworked your brain. That what you should have done is get a good night's sleep, after at least the day before reviewing it a little bit. So sleep is like the main factor when it comes to your brain functioning properly. The next one is eat dark chocolate. I found this one interesting because, it doesn't have to be all physical and mental. It can be like an actual thing that you can eat. And dark chocolate, I don't have the research for it, but has been proven to, get that, have something to do with the brain and help you. But you know what, as long as you get to eat something sweet, I'm fine with that. But here I put a few examples of apps that I've seen personally have worked, or a few that were recommended. Brain test is just a few like games in order to get your brain like active, remembering how to. I think a lot of them was just like questioning your skills as into like what can you logically do in a situation. Lumosity was also like I think a meditation and like brain games app. Memory Classics. Headspace was a good one for meditation, and it has like mini videos where it's appealing to the eye and they're very easy to use. It has for students, it has for sleep meditation, it has for focusing meditation, or even has like even yoga. The Calm app was something for you to use to relax. Yoga Glow, I personally haven't used that one, but I've heard good things about it, so I added it on there. And currently I put Peloton because it's an app that is usually you have to pay for it, but with everything going on right now, they have a 60 or 90-day free use, and you don't have to input your credit card or anything. And what this has, it has workouts, it has yoga, it has meditation, it has a bunch of different exercises and for your brain and for your physical health that would really interesting. And I personally have been using that one, and it's been a huge help because they have mini videos and you're able to do live sessions as well. So gotta take advantage of that app. That's really good, that I personally thought was really helpful for the meditation and yoga side, as into being able to remember to start focusing your brain on like one thing rather than have it dealing with all the anxiety and stress that many of us are currently dealing with. So this is more of an interactive. So without cheating, identify the real penny. And this is where I think a conversation of the Mandela effect will come into play, because for those of you who don't know the Mandela effect, I don't know how to explain it completely, but it's like recalling something differently than when it looks like right now. So looking at the screen, if you can identify the real penny, and then they all mildly look similar. So the thing is, how do you remember the penny looking like? And I don't remember which one it is, but you guys want to give it a few seconds to kind of look around and make your deduction of which one it is, and then maybe pull out a penny and check if you're right or wrong. So I have a video that I would like for you guys to watch that just kind of gives you a little what is it? A little practice on what a brain game could looks like. So So that is it for the presentation. Yeah, so basically the video showed you a few examples of it. You can train your brain, kind of pinpointing facts as into if you train your brain to see an object repeatedly moved in the same spot, you're bound to remember it more than if you see it coming from different angles. This is more of the hands-on auditory and visual aspect of it. So, touch bases on a few of the apps that are recommended if you want, or even just being able to go back and implement a few of the tips for maintaining memory. So, and that is it. Thank you for coming to my workshop. Questions, comments, concerns?
All right. Thank you, Nubia.
You're welcome.
Sinead's going to stop the recording.